American soldiers have used baseball as an emotional escape and a morale booster, dating back to the Civil War. That's exactly how baseball has felt to me over my life up to this moment, all throughout high school. It may not be the same feeling for everyone, but in case it could help someone out there, today I've decided to show you all how to throw a baseball. On top of that, I've decided to teach you guys how to throw 3 different pitches: the traditional fastball, changeup, and curveball. The fastball is the most commonly used pitch throughout the game. It's used by fielders and pretty much everyone, and the changeup and curveball are used primarily by pitchers. I've been playing baseball since I was 4 years old, and I've primarily played the position of pitcher since I was 12. I spent countless days and hours learning how to play the position and effectively throw the 3 pitches I'll be showcasing you all on today. The fastball grip is the most commonly used grip in the sport. It's used by everyone on the field, just when you're throwing the ball around. First, when you're trying to find your grip, you gotta identify the seams. You can kind of see the red lines right there, the seams, the stitches. You can see the little horseshoe pattern it has right there. So basically you're gonna wanna place your index finger and your middle finger on the seams right there, and under the ball you can tuck your finger completely or fully have it under the 2 fingers. Me personally, I kind of have it in the halfway position. And from there, the release is kind of going to go, the spin off your fingers will kind of look like that, and it'll kind of move like that. And it's a pretty straightforward spin, and that's why people use it, because it doesn't have much movement, and that keeps it more under control. Here in these videos, I kind of show off some of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball and their fastballs. You can see that they're the hardest when it comes to their miles per hour readings. You can see that they're high 90s into the 100s. And that's just kind of how they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be the hardest pitch in someone's arsenal. And as you can see here, Aroldis Chapman throws 105. He's one of the hardest throwing players in the entire league, honestly, in its history. And that's what makes him so effective, and that's what makes the fastball the most utilized pitch in the entire sport. Here we go back to the video of Mike Trout throwing the ball. This is kind of just like the basic mechanics that you'd use if you were to throw a ball. In this video, you can see Mike Trout, who has perfect mechanics, by the way. You can see as he prepares to throw, the arm that has the ball in it kind of cocks back in like a half circle type motion as it reaches its release point. And the front arm, the lead arm that has the glove on it, it kind of points out towards his target, and as he rotates to throw the ball, it kind of comes back and closes towards his body. And same with his legs in the video. You can see that as they stride out, they're closed off, and then as he rotates, they open up to face towards his target to create maximum extension and honestly maximum distance on his throw. The fastball grip that we previously learned about is actually the grip that all players on the diamond use at the same time. So in this video, Mike Trout is using that same exact grip that we used earlier. So that's what you'd use in this situation as your grip to throw the ball. Now let us move on to our next pitch, which is the changeup. The changeup is a pitch that is used as a decoy of a fastball. It's only used by pitchers, really, and it's a pretty simple, straightforward grip. You can see here, so a fastball grip looks like this as we went over. You can see the thumb tuck, the 2 fingers of the index and the middle finger. To make a changeup grip, you just shift it over to your middle finger and your ring finger, and you put those on top of the 2 seams in the horseshoe. Have the horseshoe facing in. Have the thumb down here, and these 2 fingers can be anywhere on the sides and however comfortable you want. Me personally, you can see right here, it kind of makes a C, and that's kind of my visual. Some people like to close it off, some people like to have it spaced out. Mine's kind of right there. I think that that's comfortable, and this creates a spin on the ball that causes the ball to drop a little bit. So basically it starts out with a fastball speed and look, but then the spin causes it to kind of die down, and it kind of tails off and drops a little bit. In this video, I have Stephen Strasburg, who has probably the best changeup in baseball. You can see that as it heads towards home plate, the ball kind of looks like it hits a wall midair and drops off the table. And it also is tail arm side, which means that since he's a right-handed pitcher, the ball tails away and kind of moves towards the right side of home plate, basically towards the way his arm is. And here we have another changeup thrown by Luis Castillo, who also has a really good changeup because he utilizes his arm angle, which causes even more arm side tail and a lot of drop. Very similar to Strasburg. It feels like it just hits a wall and drops off the table. Now let's move on to curveballs. The curveball is a pitch that's unlike either the fastball or the changeup in that it kind of has its own independent grip and movement. The movement on a curveball is more north-south or vertical movement rather than the fastball, which is pretty straightforward, and the changeup, which is more, I'd say, east-west, horizontal movement. The grip for a curveball is pretty simple, I'd say. So on the baseball, you'd want to identify the horseshoe again. Kind of looks like the Indianapolis Colts logo in this instance. And from there, you want to place your index and middle finger on the ball, on the corner of the horseshoe right there, and then have it be inverted on the other side. So this way, the horseshoe's facing down and your thumb's on the other side of the ball. Kind of looks like a diagonal line between your fingers. And that causes the spin on the ball to kind of like come out like this, and that causes the movement that causes the ball to kind of rainbow in a little bit. It kind of varies for each pitcher. It really depends on release point and angle, but overall it's more of a north-south movement. Here we have a few curveballs thrown by Tyler Glasnow, who is distinctly known for his curveball and it being one of the nastiest pitches in baseball. You can see the clear difference in velocity from the changeup and fastball before, and you can also see the clear change in movement as it kind of makes a north-south movement and kind of like a rainbow. And that's what makes the pitch so nasty, is that it's different than the others, so you have to expect that too on top of those other two pitches. And here are a few more curveballs thrown by Clayton Kershaw, who definitely has the best curveball in baseball. His is very distinct because of the dramatic drop-off in velocity compared to his fastball. It can drop about 20 miles per hour, and that's what makes it so hard to hit and hard to track, honestly. Well, now you know how to throw a baseball. Use it if you want to. For me personally, I found it as an emotional escape for all of my life, and who knows, maybe even just playing for a couple hours at a park with your friends could do the same for you. Thank you for listening.